Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Y'all like the content I've been dropping, the direction that my channel is headed in, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody else you think may benefit from them, all right? Now, today's topic is going to be purpose quells vices, all right? Purpose quells vices. And the title is very self-explanatory, but I just wanted to freestyle some things that come to mind when I think about this subject, because we are in a digital age where devices are becoming a more integral part of our lives. It's literally at the point now where if someone doesn't have their phone in a social setting, they might look anxious or like they're out of place. The minute conversation dies down, that person is going to feel weird looking over across the table, seeing other people immediately grab their phone and check an email or send a message or just scroll some app. And the person who doesn't have the phone finds themselves basically sitting there looking like an outcast because the new norm is that everybody is glued to their devices. There's definitely a hyper dependency on technology these days, right? So I feel like if you get on some type of purpose, you will avoid a lot of pain in life, because the pain that comes from your purpose is something that is building you up, and it's also developing your character. And simultaneously, it's somewhat intentional. Whereas when you're not disciplined, when you're not on your purpose, you tend to just revel and float around, killing time, for lack of better words, and you are often attacked by your vices full force. And it makes total sense because of the saying that idle hands are the devil's workshop, or idle mind is the devil's playground. However you want to look at it, that makes total sense. Even if I'm the devil and I'm a dark energy and I'm looking for more souls that I can devour, I'm probably not going to go for the person that is always locked in, focused, like literally building something tangible for the world to benefit from. Like, he's going to be a much harder target for me to go after than the person who is already detached from their own purpose and is aimless in their pursuits, constantly looking to be entertained, constantly trying to relax or get out of anything that's hard work, constantly giving an excuse as to why they haven't leveled up, even though the opportunity is clearly there. It's because purpose quells vices. Also, I just want y'all to think about like times where you might have been feeling down for the day. I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced this, especially as an adult. Once you hang up your kid card, hang up the jersey and grow up, man, there are so many things as an adult that you face. And I don't even have kids, so I can imagine how like tough it would be being someone who is working full time. Your spouse is working full time. Y'all got a house with maybe 2 or 3 kids. Those kids are getting home from school. You're looking at your clock, it's 4 in the afternoon. Maybe you get off at 5. You got to get into a car, get caught up in traffic. You know what I mean? It's going to take you a while to actually make it to the house. And then as soon as you get in, it's probably going to get, you're probably going to be ransacked by your kids with some issues, or maybe there's bills on the table, or maybe your wife just had a bad day, so she's coming at you. And I just look at the man in this hypothetical example, and I just think to myself, like, he is ripe to be attacked by his vices, because he's already taken care of the responsibilities of the house for him to be able to protect and provide. But when it comes down to his purpose, that would require him to allocate more time away from his already busy schedule to now sit down and get focused on another task, which of course is seriously like looking at an uphill climb. Nobody's excited about doing that. All great things take time to process. All things that are valuable are usually hard to get. So It makes more sense, instead of the person going towards his purpose, so to speak, for that same individual to eventually plop down on the couch, crack open an ice cold beer, watch whatever is on the TV, and think to himself, "Whew, I'm glad this day is over." And this becomes a repetition, and it becomes a reinforced habit where the person is constantly flying through the week, just doing what they have to do and looking to chill. And then when it comes to the weekend, they're hoping to sleep in, or maybe knock out a couple of errands, or maybe they just want to relax and not have anything to do before the upcoming work week. And it becomes literally their life. And it's easy to understand why that person now develops a smoking habit, or starts to drink a little bit too much, or gets real sucked into pornography, or fantasy football, or maybe he wants to gamble, or he becomes a dull, bland, watered down version of who he could be if he would chase after actualizing his own potential. And that's the reason why I say purpose quells vices, is because on all those days that I look back in my life where maybe I woke up and I just wasn't feeling optimal. We all had these days. It's not like you're sick. It's not like you have a cold or anything like that, but you just aren't feeling 100%. What I've noticed on days like this is whenever I just decide to get up in lieu of how I feel, and I make some move towards something that I've been putting off, I immediately feel energized and recharged, especially once I stay engaged with that activity for longer than I originally planned. So an example could be, let's say my basement is really chaotic, and I've been wanting to go down there for the last few months to square it away. But whenever the opportunity comes, I find myself looking for any other task that could fill in that slot so that I could have a way to avoid going down into the basement, right? But let's say on this particular day where I don't feel good, I actually have enough gusto and courage to just say, fuck how I feel, and I get down in that basement. What I've noticed on days like that is I tend to go and perform even higher than what I would if I was in the right headspace. It's similar to the days where I really don't feel like working out. I wake up and my inner pig immediately starts wrestling with me about laying back down and don't overdo it. You could always just go tomorrow. Like all these thoughts I think we all have. But on the days that I'm not feeling it the most, and then I just get into the gym, I've seen consistently that those are my best workouts. So what is there as a gem of wisdom that I can extract from such a situation? It's that purpose quells vices. The vice in this case, if I think about me waking up and not feeling 100%, is literally wide open for me to maybe sit down and just chill all day, eat a bunch of snacks, smoke a bunch of weed, drink a bunch of alcohol, you know what I mean? Sit around and just kick back without really accomplishing anything. Versus being someone who gets up and goes after what it is I know I need to do. Like, it literally just quells the vice because you're so busy plugging away doing something you know you need to do, and then you in turn grow, learn, develop, and then you feel so much better when the task is finished already. And that was already time that you would have mainly just fucked off sitting around and being engaged with your vices. The minute you decide you get on your purpose, like, don't you find it ironic that you're energized, you feel much better, and at the end of the day, like, it's a psychological well-being that no one could have given to you. So I'm all over the place with this video. I'm freestyling just what I notice, and it's that seriously purpose quells vices. I'm at a job right now where there is a flexible schedule. It's basically saying as long as you work 40 hours a week, and as long as you're not working more than 10 hours in a day, and as long as you work between the hours of 6 a.m. and your shift is over by 8 p.m., we don't really care like how you want to do your hours. So as long as that it meets that criteria that I just laid out. So if I'm a person who only works 6 hours on Tuesday, then I'll work 9 hours on Wednesday, and then Thursday I work, maybe however many hours. Like, as long as it adds up at the end, no one cares. So what I peep, since nobody's over the shoulder at my work, you have people who are on their purpose, and you have people who are consumed by their vices. And even if you look at the two sitting right across from each other, you can just imagine how the one who's on his purpose will literally have actions that compound and pay crazy dividends lifelong, in comparison to the person who's always engaged with their vices. I see it just too often at work. The guy who's engaged in his vices, every single time you look at his screen, if he doesn't have work going on, he's looking at Amazon. He's looking at something that's non-work related. Every time he's off the phone, or whatever task he had to knock out is somewhat looking like it's finished, he's looking to take a break. He's looking to go have a smoke. He's looking to go grab another coffee. Every single time somebody comes and wants to bring up a conversation that has nothing to do with work, this is the person that throws their computer on lock and immediately engages the conversation. And it doesn't matter if it's 45 minutes of a bunch of just blah, blah, blah. That person will be right there fully into it. But now let's contrast that with the person who's on their purpose. First of all, when they come to work, they're probably going to have a sticky note or some type of agenda that they've crafted out for themselves in order to stay busy throughout the day on their own accord. The second thing I notice about people who are on their purpose is that their work output tends to dwarf that of the person who's on their vices. Third thing I noticed, which is something that I figured out was cap a long time ago. The person who is on their purpose usually is not going to have the most friendly, approachable vibe compared to people who are on their vices. They're not going to be people who just come up to you in the middle of the day and start up a chat and have a bunch of small talk, because that person is usually already looking at their clock, knowing how many minutes they have allocated for each thing. So they're going to be pretty Spartan and disciplined with their time. So it doesn't mean that they don't want to talk and chop it up and have fun, but they just have a priority more on expanding their abilities while they're at work and being engaged with the task at hand. And if I throw just one last one that I notice about a contrast between, let's say, someone who is on their purpose and then the person who's on their vices. The person who is on their purpose by default is going to have a lot of opportunities that seem to come out of nowhere, which would make someone from the outside looking in consider that person to be fortunate or lucky or whatever term. But it all really just boils down to certain laws that are in place. The person who's on their purpose is already in tune with more universal laws than the person who is just drifting. And it makes total sense. I think I brought it up in a video not too long ago, but I just want you to think about if you were the creator, right? We don't have to get into religion or anything like that, but just think about the fact that so many humans around the earth pray to a higher power, hoping that certain things will bless their life. All things being equal, I just want you to think about what I'm saying here, because I think the creator would easily bless way more people who are on their purpose than people who are engage with their vices. It doesn't even make sense for the Creator to bless you if you're not using all of the strengths and abilities that He gave you already to try to gain some traction, right? It makes sense that you'll be blessed as long as you're giving as much effort as you can on your side. Then the Creator meets you on the other side and blesses you with things that you don't even know how they were able to come about. But it was like literally an even exchange to the amount of work or shadow work, for that example, or for that matter, that you were willing to put in. We're not talking about work for the simple fact that people are over your shoulder and you want to get validation. We're talking about the work that you do, the discipline that you show, the purpose that you remain loyal to when you get no applause, when no one watches, when no one knows, when it's literally just you against you, right? When you could be plugging away for years and no one knows. I feel like that person will always get blessed, not only more often, but with more energy behind the blessing than the person who is aimless or who just passively asks for blessings. So this video was just a short power pack joint that is off the top of the head. I just wanted to give y'all something that has definitely been on my mind over the last days, which is purpose quells vices, man. So I charge all of y'all to get on your purpose. Alpha Male Strategy said it back in like 2017 or 2018 when he first got on the YouTube. And I totally agree with the sentiment, because whenever I'm plugged up doing something, I get the best results in life.